This is the Choosing Joy podcast with me, Jodi Lynn Turpin. Take a breath, feel it all, choose joy anyway. Hello and welcome back to the Choosing Joy podcast. It's me, Jodi Lynn Turpin. Today I am going to talk about thrifting. It's one of my favorite subjects, and I find so much joy in thrifting. And I thought because the holidays are just around the corner, it would be a great subject to talk about. So when I say thrifting, I mean any way that you are getting something secondhand. So from a garage sale or an estate sale, consignment, thrift stores, what do you call it? Those, like a flea market, rummage sales, your grandma's basement, your mom's pantry, like wherever you're getting thrifted things that are new to you. Even like friends, like they have like a box of stuff and they're like, do you want anything out of this, this big box of stuff? And you're like, yes, I do. I would love that, pot or pan or whatever. So I've always found thrifting just such an exciting and joyful experience. Just like finding that thing you've had your eye on for a really long time. And whether that's like using Facebook Marketplace or any other thing like Etsy or Mercari to like get these items, it's really exciting. And I was thinking of something that when I was a kid, it really brought me joy. I had one of these little plastic chain necklaces and it held all these charms. So there'd be like a little tennis racket or crayons and everything was plastic. And I had one of those and I used to just stare at it. I don't know if I ever even wore it, but it was really special to me. And then about 5 years ago, I was at a garage sale and I have long since gotten rid of my plastic chain necklace and they had one for $2 and it was full, like 2 times as many things as I've ever had on my little plastic chain necklace. And it still just sits in my jewelry box, but it brings me so much joy to just look at all the little items. It's just really, I don't know, it's exciting. And the thought that you can go to a garage sale or a thrift store and someone didn't want something anymore. It was no longer serving a purpose in their life. And it's just about to serve a big purpose in yours or as a gift for someone. This year for Christmas, we're doing a lot of thrifted items. I try to do like a percentage. That was silly to even like put a percentage on it because you just can't do everything. But a lot of the things are thrifted. I was making my boys blankets, like quilts, and I tried to get as many things as I could thrifted, after I washed and, got all the delicious perfume smells out of them. But then, just other little things. I found some mugs that are just in perfect condition. And honestly, I find so many brand new things. I know you know what I'm talking about. And you can just really create these beautiful gifts. Like you get like what do you call that? Like a cast iron pot. I see them at the thrift store all the time. Clean it really good. I always use like the, special eraser thing on it to make it shined up. And then you can get like pasta sauce, even homemade pasta sauce. That's like double, triple points for that one. But it doesn't need to be. And get like a bread mix and pasta and sauce and maybe like some cute napkins and even a gift card to go with it or like a movie even. And that makes such a perfect gift for anyone. Honestly, if you're looking for something to get me this Christmas, thrift me something because I'm going to love it. And most of the presents like I've gotten for friends and different things through the years, those are thrifted items. And I find it super exciting. But along the lines of thrifting, I wanted to give like the tips that I've learned through the years about getting smells out of things. And mostly those smells are either musty, moldy, or worse in my brain is perfume, cologne, fabric softener, laundry detergent smell. That's a public service announcement too. That's a lot of smell that just doesn't come out very easily. And so, number one, I wash it. And if it's too strong, I don't dry it because I don't want to cook it into the, into the fabric. You can soak it in vinegar, white vinegar. And then if worst comes to worst, and one time a perfume or cologne bottle spilled I had like a fabric suitcase. I do not have it anymore. It spilled through someone else's luggage and into mine. And so my whole bag smelled so bad. I remember getting in the car and the boys picked me up from the airport and they're like, I can't even breathe because I couldn't smell it anymore because I had already been with the bag for a while. But after almost a year of my clothes smelling like perfume, my sister found like the best hack ever. And that's those little charcoal packets. So you can get them, I don't know, like any store online. And they're like a little charcoal sachet kind of thing. You could even put it like in your, with your shoes or anything for smells, but you put it in a box that's really enclosed and a bag around it and just, place them throughout for maybe a week. I think that was all. And the smell is gone. It just absorbs everything. So I tend to do that quite a bit more right away. I also feel like I can smell a lot more than other people for some reason. And so I'm like, why does everything smell bad? I actually was going to do a whole podcast episode on fragrances and smells during the holidays, like candles, perfume, cologne, whatever. Nobody wants to smell it. Nobody wants to smell it. I mean, maybe some people do. Maybe like your lover wants to smell it because they're like, oh, you smell so good. I don't think really anyone does though. So maybe just forgo the perfume or cologne at the holiday parties. But yeah, those are my little tips for getting the smells out. And like, oh, another big one is the sun. So if you can use the sun in any way to just let everything just soak in the sun, it really pulls it out. Another one is if you have like lace or white kind of items, if you lay them on the grass, the sun and the grass combination will bleach out those items. I used to always get, when I owned my last business, Turpin. Well, that was a couple businesses ago. I made things out of repurposed fabrics and clothing, and I get a lot of lace to make the aprons and different things, like the tablecloth lace or curtains. And they would have like really bad stains from like coffee or whatever on them. And so I would take and just lay them wet on the grass and it would just absorb the stains. It's kind of fun science to do with your kids too. Yeah, thrifting I think is like, it's just so much fun. Even just to like go out with like your mom or your friends or your sister or your niece or whoever, or yourself or your kids. It's just like a fun experience to look through and see the next life of something and then look into and feel the energy of the past lives of it. I think it's really exciting. Something when my husband and I go thrifting, we always like to look at the suits, which I think is more him, and that's fine. But it's interesting to think of like the different sizes of suits and like this is really cool pinstripe one from who knows when. And so I know I find these things like this are very exciting. And it's just such a wonderful day to go out and do some thrifting, have lunch together, either bring it or go out to lunch, and then do a little bit more thrifting. And then when you get back, you bring in your haul and you look at everything and how you're going to use it and how you're going to clean it and do all the things like that. Another thing I just want to put a note on, and I've had people on the podcast before that have talked about this, about thrifted items. They do carry an energy of a different place. So letting them sit outside or in your garage. I mean, sometimes I even just leave it in my car just to let it like calm down and come back to neutral. And that can look in any way that you want it to too. Some people put salt around it. Some people, spray it with different water. But for me, I just leave it outside because I think that the moon and the sun can heal everything. Like that, taking that energy out. That's just a little side note about that. But I was really thinking about my favorite ever thrifted items because there have been so many. But I will say one of probably the best ever is this peacock chair that I'm sitting in. If you're listening on Apple or Spotify, you'll have to go on YouTube to be able to see it, but it's like a beautiful peacock chair. I got this at like a resale bin store thing. And there was a couple of them. The other ones were just like kind of beat up, but this one was just in perfect condition, even though it has some kind of like quirkiness to it about like the woods that was used in it, or I don't know what you call that, the wraparound kind of stuff. So that's one of my favorites because I wanted one for so many years. A couple different outfits that I've found from 60s or 70s that actually fit my body. Because I'm not like a super tiny petite size. Like I find a lot of those kind of clothes that they're just really tiny and little. But I'll find a couple things. I found like a homemade crocheted black dress with like a little like sweater overlay thing. So cool. I know that a lot of people find it gross, but I don't. But shoes. I just found some the other day, some like really comfortable, high quality shoes. And I think they're brand new because they still have like the little tag thing on the inside, unless someone was straight up crazy and kept that. Crazy in a good way. I found this metal bread box one time. It did have to spend a lot of time outside to be used, but it's so beautiful. And it just says bread on the front. It's those like greens and oranges, sort of like my little quilt thing hanging behind me right now. My favorite, like my custom, like brand colors of me, a Jodi Lynn Turpin as a person. But there's been so many cool things. And then, oh wait, a side note about like when you're thrifting with your friend and you find something that is, ooh, no one would pass it up. It's so cool. And then you just both look at each other and you're like, this has got to go home with one of us if we need to like have custody arrangement with it or something like that. But we usually can always come to like a terms of understanding about that. But yeah, it's really fun. And my boys like thrifting, especially my younger son. So it's a fun thing for us to do together, looking for different things. He really likes finding like jeans from the 90s or band t-shirts. And so, even when he doesn't go, it becomes part of my repertoire of like what I look through at the thrift store. So I have to go through the men's shirt size, small and medium, see what I can find. I always look through the jeans now. And even for other friends, we'll be like, keep your eye out for this or this. And it's just kind of fun. And then you call them and you're like, I found it. I found the item. It's so much fun. Yeah. So I just wanted to talk about something light and happy and fun. And that happened to be thrifting today. So when you're buying gifts for Christmas, a beautiful thing is to thrift them and to have them ready to go for the person in such a beautiful way. Even if you create something out of it, out of those items, like a yarn or fabrics or old sweaters or whatever you do with it. But it's beautiful to thrift. It's not weird or gross, or I've heard so many people say so many things. It's actually really thoughtful because it takes a lot of time to find these items and to take care of them and tidy them up and clean them and make them just perfect for your loved one. So I hope you have a beautiful day, an amazing holiday season, and everything around this time of the year. It's absolutely beautiful. And I love you all. Talk to you soon. You've been listening to the Choosing Joy podcast with me, Jodi Lynn Turpin. Be gentle with yourself, trust the timing, and keep choosing joy again and again.